Okay, hello, anyone watching in. Um, sorry, I don't do too many of these videos. I'm a little bit awkward in front of the camera. I always have them, but where needs must, I guess. Sorry to anyone I haven't spoken to in a while. Just been super exhausted with what I think is long COVID the last 6 or 7 months. But I haven't given up. What's the point of that? Um, yeah. So the prime reason making this video here now is to update you all as succinctly as possible on the case and campaign at Trinity College Dublin to mobilise the university in peaceful civil disobedience to bring about binding citizens' assemblies about system change at national level, covering at least our current economic system and alternatives, different governance structures or methods of governance, or dissolvement of system, and decolonisation. To cut a long story short, the case, which had been put off at least a year or two, sorry, just cut out there for a second. It was put off at least a year or two now, possibly because they didn't want to hear the case, because to the best of my knowledge, I genuinely believe this, we have them cornered in a peaceful way. It's a fallacy that things need to be violent, that justice can only be achieved by violent means. It doesn't mean being any less committed. I'm digressing a little bit. So the case went really well, not just in a personal sense, not because I want to get off prison. It might be nicer in a personal sense not to be there, but part of the campaign initially failing the university's holding of an emergency assemblies and referendums on whether or not to mobilise the university in disobedience. The aim was to go to prison, and I was happy to go again last week if needed be. I stood my ground in court. There were no moral compromises made. I invited their punishment to further shine light on the truth, or even to send a message to the people I know of my own commitment and the commitment required. I can't expect other people to put their necks where I'm not willing to put my own. I acknowledge my own complicity in this economic system in court, which I was born into and have lived in and have benefited from every day of my life until I still am benefiting from it while it exists. Much more so than others, and that's not okay. But the judge was sympathetic about it. So was the guard pressing charges, who ultimately withdrew them because of what I had to say in court. I acknowledge that we are being trapped within a system necessitating the climate and ecological genocide of all life on Earth, and many other atrocities along with it. and long beforehand. Even the woman who was asking me to swear my oath, she was smiling at me before the case, or before I gave it, or she was trying to withhold it. It's deep down they're all humans as well. As are the staff of our universities. This is part of why I focus so much on peace. Even the guard, you could see deep within him was this wanting to be a good person and do the right thing. Most people have that. Most people are good people. Most people want to do right. We have to give them the opportunity to do so. It doesn't mean backing down. It doesn't mean not bringing this economic system to a halt. Not by any stretch of the imagination. That absolutely has to happen. There can be nothing just without that. It's not to excuse the atrocities that take place within this economic system while it exists. Not for 1 minute. I think it was a Gandhian quote. Again, I tend to quote him a lot. Do we fight to change the injustice, or do we fight to punish it? I mightn't have them word for word, but that's the essence of it. I believe global North Marxist revolutionaries here and around the world have failed monumentally by the failure to engage in deep satyagraha, or at least most of the positives of it. It can work. It's not that difficult. It's perfectly possible. We know what the system's going to continue to do. We know what it has done. It has to be stopped. Not just for us, but for everyone else. We won't be needing or looking for medals for this. It's common courtesy. It's not okay to... Trying to watch my language lately. It's not okay to screw people over. It's not okay to screw non-humans over. I'm digressing a little bit again, I'm sorry. But to sum it up, I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. What assumes itself the most prestigious university in Ireland, in Dublin City, in Trinity College, we have shown its bigotry. And through this case, we have shown in what is currently an EU country that the campaign, that the actions, but more importantly, the campaign to mobilise the university in civil disobedience to bring about binding national citizens' assemblies on system change was justified. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. It hasn't even sunk in for me yet. Now, I understand we have a degenerative economic system. I understand it'll keep coming down harder and harder and harder, and that it'll play its own trickery behind scenes, particularly when other countries are not rising peacefully and proportionally as well to bring the system to rest, not to change its hands. But this is massive. This is massive. And I'm not just saying it because I've played a part in it. When universities mobilise in disobedience, in peaceful civil disobedience, these are the intellectual defence forces of a state. We would say intellectual to some degree. When they peacefully step down, when they proportionately step down in a meaningful manner, which is perfectly possible, it's perfectly necessary, and it's perfectly possible to do in a peaceful and calm way that peacefully and calmly mobilises and seeks solidarity mobilisations around the world. It's perfectly possible. We knew it was necessary. We knew it was morally justified, because it's not okay to murder your students or anyone else's students or non-students, whether or not they've been given or taken the privilege to study in a university. This is a watershed moment. It's only really sinking in as I start to explain this to you guys now. Yes, it's not okay to murder your students. But on the other side of that, you don't have to murder your students. Isn't that great? I'm not here to say we're all going to survive if we mobilise our universities in disobedience tomorrow. It's way too late. Way too late. But this gives actual hope a proper chance. It gives actual justice a proper chance. And until we truly care about others, the way we might care for our locals, nothing's going to happen. This enables us to do it. This is huge. This is huge. I'm hitting a blank here. I'm kind of speechless myself here. It hasn't really sunk in yet. This means we can do it peacefully. We can do it democratically. The university mobilisation can include the voices of our public in its precursory university assemblies and referenda on whether or not to mobilise in disobedience. Just as any union would. In fact, it's probably more democratic than any union mobilisation. Members of the wider public will be allowed to present in these university assemblies and contribute to discussions and debates and counter-arguments. Then the recommendations arising from these university assemblies can inform the university referenda on whether or not to mobilise in disobedience. Once we all get to see all together, oh yeah, this economic system is destroying all life on Earth. Oh yeah, it has been absolutely atrocious for hundreds of years. Oh yeah, it's killing everyone we love. Let's mobilise in disobedience to stop it. It's not that complicated. Some of the universities here might take issue of doing it with me or doing anything with me because I've gotten a bit cross with them beforehand. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to like me at all. You don't have to have anything to do with me. Just have these emergency assemblies yourself, or emergence assemblies and referenda yourself. I can give you some tips in it, but you don't even need me to present. You don't even need Mobilise Peace campaign members to present. To show the system for what it really is, and what it has been for a long, long time. And then mobilise peacefully. You can bring the economy to a halt in a very short period of time in global north countries when our universities mobilise in disobedience. And we can mobilise the wider public as well while we do that. I'll finish on this. Please remember this. This is not Putin's war. This is Trinity's war. This is UCC's war. This is Oxford's war. This is Cambridge's war. This is Harvard's. This is Moscow University's war, etc., etc. On each other. On the global south. On life itself. Why? Because they've known the truth. They've known many of these interdisciplinary truths and have not sounded the alarm for hundreds of years. But this is about to end. I've been writing a bit over the recent months to kind of help inform some of you guys on how this can work. Writing as fast as I can and as slow as I can so as not to mess up. I'll send forward some of these things. But yeah, I'll leave it there for now. I'm absolutely shattered. Spread the word. Spread the word. It's a watershed moment. If we didn't need it beforehand, now we know it's legally okay not to murder your students. Let's do it. Let's end capitalism. Peacefully. Why not do it peacefully? Cutting off a billionaire's head isn't going to solve anything. It's not that I know any billionaires. Not only that, the pursuit of it is, I genuinely believe, is a large reason why we haven't had justice and why we won't have justice without peace or peaceful mobilizations. I'll leave it there. Lots of love. Peace. Let's do it.